We got this newest member of the UFC roster. Chris Gutierrez is going to be taking on Raoni Barcelos at the Ultimate Fighter Season 28 finale on November 30th. Chris, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. It's getting fight camp started pretty quick and keeping it going, keeping the momentum going.
I bet you're literally going right now. You're going to lunch, aren't you?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, having a salad. Congratulations on getting this UFC contract. When did you find out about this?
I found out Thursday around. It was Thursday around 6 o'clock.
Okay, interesting. And who's the first person you told?
Yusuf.
Who's in the car with you? I should point out Yusuf Zalal.
Yeah, he's in the car right next to me.
Yeah, that's great. Got to get the cameo in there. So what's going through your head? I mean, this was something we talked about last time we did the interview. Was this something you were expecting?
I mean, of course, I've had 3 dominant performances and you think you're going to get the call the next fight, and so I was hoping, but I didn't think it was going to happen like that. You know what I mean? And it almost still hasn't even hit me. And from what I'm hearing, it won't hit me until I'm in the dressing room and you see your name on everything. That's when it kind of hits you.
For sure. What's been the best message you've received? Because I'm sure you got a lot of positive feedback. People, coming out of the woodwork, congratulating you. Is there one message or anything like that that sort of stands out as far as people giving you props?
I keep a small circle. I appreciate everybody who's giving me, good job, congratulations. But I try to stay in a real small circle of people that have been behind me since I started, and you know what I mean. And through the thick and thin, they've always been there. And I guess the most positive thing I've gotten is, you've worked really hard for this opportunity to now go out there and seize it. And that's what I've been doing. Ultimately, this is what we're doing this for, is to be the greatest, and to fight on the biggest stage in the world, man. It's a dream come true for any martial artist who's fighting in martial arts,
For sure. And how is the weight cut going for you?
Oh, it's never a fun thing, but I'm a professional and I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah, well, at least you're not fighting on one of those international cards. Like we just had the Argentina card last week, and then we got the Beijing card coming up here this weekend. So you dodged the bullet that way because it's not that far to get from Colorado to Vegas.
No. You're right. I mean, one of our teammates just fought on that one. Ian.
Yeah, that's right. Ian Heinisch, huge win.
He fought on that one, and man, he looked great and he got the dub, and we rocking and rolling. Man, I'm just glad. I'm at Factory X, man. Again, it's just Coach Mark is doing an amazing job with us, and obviously there's something great at the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. How do you feel like you match up against Barcelos in this fight?
I feel like I match up good. He's a typical Brazilian fighter. He tucks the chin down and just comes forward, and he does throw hard, but I think he throws hard. Like him and Holloway, I can only say from the last fight, which wasn't that long ago. Holloway was a very seasoned fighter as well, but stylistically, I don't think that was a good matchup for him because I don't think his IQ in fighting was that high. Holloway, no disrespect to him, it's just I don't think it was that high. There's a lot of things that he did that I necessarily wouldn't have done. So and it worked well for the Brazilian because that's how he fights. And so I'm looking to exploit some of the stuff he did in the Holloway fight. And, those are some of the keys to victory for me.
What about activity? He had a long layoff heading into the Holloway fight. You've been a lot more active than him over the last 2 years. Do you feel like that's going to play a factor?
Oh, of course. Anytime you're active in something you're doing, it keeps the motors firing, and it keeps you active. It's a long layoff is, that does hinder you to a point. It does and it doesn't. It just depends on what kind of, it just depends on what kind of person you are. But in reality, like you said, he hasn't been that active. So again, I'm planning on exploiting that. I know he's gonna try to use the fact that it's my first UFC fight. I'm sure I'm going to be nervous a little bit, but I usually do pretty good under lights.
So as far as training camps, just the same guys you've been working with for the last fight, Yusuf Zalal, just a lot of different training partners at Factory X.
Same guys in their training. We got a couple new people, but since this fight is so close, I haven't really trained with them because I don't know if they're a wild type of fighter. I don't know if they're the type of person that go, 100 miles an hour. And so I just stick with people who give me a good push, but at the same time we learn from each other, you know?
No, that's key. What about recovery? What are you using right now for healing up those bumps and bruises in training camp?
I just got a new shipment of Terphouse. So, I've never been a believer of that, man, until I started doing it, and I do got to thank a little friend of mine, Derek Brennan, for getting me in contact with Terphouse. And, it works well for me. So I like that. And that's what I've been using.
That's great. What's been the biggest benefit for you with the CBD oil?
I just feel like recovery a little faster, but just I don't know, mentally I feel good. I just feel like it kind of helps you mentally a little bit. It keeps everything firing on all cylinders. Very relaxing.
Speaking of firing on all cylinders, how do you see this fight playing out on November 30th?
I've never been the one to call it. I just go in there, man, and I feel like he's going to be very aggressive, and I feel like his aggression is going to be his downfall. And I just plan on doing what El Guapo does. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's going to be a good night. And I'm happy. I'm happy the way the fights, the way it's going, and how my careers went from nothing to something. And and I'm going to take advantage of it.
And we're looking forward to it, man. The Ultimate Fighter Season 28 finale, it's coming up here November 30th. Chris, again, congratulations on getting the UFC deal. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, I want to thank all my sponsors that, that's helped me, behind the curtains. A lot of this wouldn't be possible without them. My gym, Factory X, a lot of my my sparring partners. You can find me on Instagram, El Guapo MMA. Underscore between L and MMA, Facebook Chris Gutierrez, and Twitter's Chris Gutierrez, something like that. I don't know. Just Google it. You'll find it. But other than that, man, I appreciate it.